It was a Tuesday, 10 a.m. Central European Time. The air traffic control screens at Heathrow dissolved into a chaos of red warnings, followed by a scream that was felt, not heard, for exactly 60 seconds. The fundamental law of gravitation didn't disappear. It reversed. Every object on Earth with mass suddenly repelled every other object with equal force. The initial impact was biblical. Anything not firmly rooted or enclosed was launched upward with the equivalent force of freefall acceleration. Cars flipped, trees were ripped from the soil, and billions of unsecured items, from office supplies to roof tiles, created a deadly, ascending hailstorm that instantly fractured the ozone layer and punched holes through the highest atmospheric layers. But the worst was the human cost. Anyone caught outside or inside structures without seatbelts or restraints was violently ejected skyward. The 60 seconds of ascent were a period of pure, terrified flight, followed by the 72 hours of chaos as everything that went up eventually, chaotically, returned to the ground. Civilization was paralyzed, buried under a rain of debris and bodies. I was Dr. Lena Hansen, a quantum field physicist at the moment of the event. I was secured deep within the heavily shielded facilities of the Large Hadron Collider, LHC, our massive, subterranean structure, designed to withstand minor seismic events, held firm, though the internal cooling systems were breached by ascending coolant pipes. Our facility was one of the few places with direct, verifiable sensor data from the moment the gravitational constant, g, flipped from positive to negative. The official explanation, delivered by a frantic, half-functioning global government coalition, was a catastrophic, naturally occurring solar flare impacting the Earth's magnetic field. It was dismissed as a freak accident, a statistical impossibility. But our LHC data showed otherwise. The shift in G was not random. It was preceded by a perfectly structured, high-energy quantum resonance pulse that lasted precisely 1.5 milliseconds. Someone, or something, had intentionally toggled the universal constant. For 2 years, the world rebuilt, accepting the lie. But in the secrecy of the underground LHC lab, my team and I became obsessed with the 1.5 millisecond pulse. We found its origin point, a massive, previously unknown facility buried deep beneath the Antarctic ice, codenamed Project Zenith. This wasn't a physics lab. It was a vast, extraterrestrial-scale installation, decades old, built around a colossal, humming crystalline structure. Infiltrating Zenith took months and a full year's worth of salvaged resources. The facility was designed to generate the precise pulse we measured, focused directly into the Earth's core. The crystalline structure was an interdimensional oscillator, and its purpose was not to reverse gravity, but to generate a brief, localized gravitational vacuum. The reversal was an accidental byproduct of a far more complex action. The horrifying realization came when we analyzed the logs left behind by the skeleton crew who operated the oscillator. The facility's primary function was to synchronize the vacuum pulse with a recurring, rhythmic signal emanating from deep space. Every 1.5 milliseconds of gravitational vacuum created a brief, perfect tunnel through the fabric of spacetime, a window of opportunity. The logs revealed the ultimate twist. The 60-second reversal was not the event, it was the failure. The oscillator was not toggled by the solar flare. It was toggled by the Zenith crew themselves in a desperate attempt to stop the recurring deep space signal from completing its transmission. The scientists had discovered that the recurring signal was a massive, complex data stream aimed directly at a device buried deep within the Earth's core, and that device required a brief, precise gravitational vacuum, the 1.5 milliseconds, to complete each stage of the download. The Zenith crew's final log explained their desperate, last-ditch effort. They didn't know how to stop the pulse, but they knew how to overload the oscillator, forcing it into a feedback loop that generated the massive, chaotic, 60-second gravitational reversal. Their goal was to create enough gravitational noise and turbulence to prevent the 1.5 millisecond window from opening successfully, sacrificing the surface world to save the core. The Earth, Thorne revealed, wasn't receiving a signal. It was an active cosmic receiver. The core wasn't just metal. It housed an ancient, non-terrestrial computer that had been dormant for millions of years. And the deep space signal was a reactivation code. The true, devastating horror, the 60-second reversal was a failure because it only stopped one full cycle of the download. The oscillator overloaded. But the deep space signal continued, and the massive energy release from the reversal had a secondary, terrifying effect. It didn't disrupt the core device. It provided the final, Massive power surged the device needed to finish its boot sequence. As we stood in the ruins of Project Zenith, the colossal crystalline structure began to hum, not with a localized pulse, but with a deep, planetary vibration. On the main monitor, a final message scrolled in an ancient, flowing script, now fully translated, download complete. Initialization, 30 seconds. Welcome, Core Navigator. The reversal didn't save us, it just delayed the inevitable and, worse, charged the enemy's battery. The Earth was not just a receiver, it was now a colossal, sentient vessel, and it had just been given its final, devastating set of instructions, and in 30 seconds, it would leave us behind.